can't see myself if I.
Oh, okay. All right. Ready? First exercise, turning. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. To the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you keep going. I guess set up. Make sure the mic's in the right place. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Hands on your waist. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Cross. Knees. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Hands on your waist. Neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Tilt to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Rotating. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Center. Hands up. Pull in, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, spread your feet. Turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, turn, stretch it out. Switch. 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 Straighten the front knee. Switch. 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 Center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands to your waist. Shoulder roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Okay, press, release, exhale, inhale. And stop. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, wrists. Reverse. And center. Okay, palms down. Bigger circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Okay, we're gonna do deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, we'll go side to side and just free it up a little. Okay, then we shift and lift. and center. Okay, shake it out. Leg swing. Gonna aim towards your center, and then we're gonna kick it in. Okay, center, switch. And center. Okay, side to side. Okay, switch. And center. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, silk reeling. Switch. And center. Okay, open and close. switch. Okay, center, circular movements. Okay, low hoop. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Okay, lower. Palms down. Extend. Okay, deep breathing, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, diagonal flying. Switch. Okay, center, cloud hands. Okay, palms down, palms up, carry tiger to the mountain. Okay, infinity sign. Okay, form the fists. Okay, palms together. Strum the lute. Thumbs up. Alternate the shoulders. And center. Switch. Other side. And center. Turn. Draw the bow. Okay, fan through the back. Raise the hand, lift it up. Okay, palms down, hands up, deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, see a few people coming in here. I think Rob. Oh. Okay, ready? We'll go through the form, short form. Eye staring straight ahead. You want this mirror at an angle or anything? Doesn't matter. Okay, ready? Feet parallel, shoulder width. Ready? Preparation. Short form. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Fist under elbow. And repulse the monkey. Hold the ball. Diagonal flying. Insert the needle, fan through the back. Turn, parry and punch. Form the fists. Leopard and tiger springs the mountain. Carry tiger to the mountain, pivot to the rear. Cross hands. Left hand outside, raise the hand. Bend from the waist. Stork flaps wings and turn. Left side grasp the sparrow's tail. Single whip. Hold and reverse the ball. Sit back, part the horse's mane. Step up. Part the horse's mane. Cross over. Jade Lady work shuttle. Jade Lady work shuttle, cross over, right side. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Hook your wrists. Single whip, cloud hands. Single whip. Hold the ball. Reverse diagonal flying. Close the form. And close. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I was just wondering the mic is on. Okay, we'll go through long form, nice and slow. Okay, everybody ready? You wanna? Okay, feet shoulder width preparation. Actually, no punch there. Yep. Keep going. Cross the sparrow's tail. Single whip. Hook your wrist, single whip, then the kicks. Kick. Turn, heel kick. Fold. Lift. Brush knee twice. Planting punch. Turn, parry and punch. High pat the horse, just like the first set of hand movements. Beat the tiger. Heel kick. 2 punches to the ear. Parting legs. Crescent kick, really. That's what it is. Turn. Pedal step. Parry and punch again. So we have quite a few parry and punches here. Form the fist. And punch. Divert, block, and punch. Carry tiger to the mountain. And back to single whip. Right side diagonal fly. And then your 5 pot the horse's manes. Reversing, repulse the monkey. Punch down the crotch. Step up, grasp the sparrow's tail. Single whip. Second downward posture. We just repeat the section. Cross hand. Retreat. Hook your wrists, ride the tiger. Palm strikes face. Turn, palm strikes face. Double lotus. Draw border, shoot tiger. Palm strikes face again. So the whole closing section's all palm strike. Palm strikes face with the high pat the horse. Back to neutral. Close the form. Grasp the sparrow's tail. To single whip. Deep breathing. Okay, ready? So a couple of things, cloud hands, we got that little jog in there. So, that transition that we have in the cloud hands, where after we hold the ball, then we shift, then we go to diagonal flying. But it's really the beginning of the cloud hands. Then you shift, and then we settle into that leg, right? So that little bit of a adjustment is just like when we open the beginning of the form. When we're here, we hold the ball and we go to the diagonal flying. We make that little adjustment before we step up to press forward, right? So that's that little hip adjustment. So when we're here, we need to relax. So that means let this elbow that was out here come back down. So this is open, that's closed, right? So that, because the body's moving as a unit, you have a transition that when we're here, then we have to settle into that, right? So it creates but it should be, there, you do it as a physical movement in the beginning, and then it becomes more intrinsic as it becomes part of your transition, because really all you're doing is releasing the shoulder and creating a movement that's much more compatible with your direction, right? So, why would you do that? So if Rob, so my hand is here, if his hand is here and I'm like this, and I'm going to make my transition. If I just leave it here and he's pushing here, and I make my transition, I'm going to be creating a place for him to apply his force. Because now when I lean like this and then I turn like this, I actually, if I don't relax my shoulder, he actually feels that he's actually becoming part of that unit. So when I'm here and I go like this, he feels that his force doesn't come through because I've dissipated his force. So if your movement in Tai Chi is to learn to re-divert and neutralize strength, the integration of your body has to be sort of that integral part of that adjustment. So it's kind of in Wu style they might call it internal adjustment, or to relax the shoulder and sink your elbow. Essentially, that's what it is. So the action should happen as a function of your what? As your, right? So if your hip is moving, your shoulder has to move, right? Because that's the relationship. So when the shoulder settles and moves, you're in that position, you do it, right? You're in that position, I press here, and when you should feel that now you have an intent on this side. The intent is, because this is here, it's kind of pressing. This is now directed as part of a equal opposite response. Because when my hand is doing this, my body's actually doing this. So now you have a separation. So the energy of that movement is splitting. You can't see it, but you can feel it, right? So then that's something that you just have to play around with to bring into your form. Playing around with the form and trying to capture some of what this information is trial and error. That's all it is. Your body's going through this trial and error to find out what it should feel like. Then when you've discovered that this is the correct way of that feeling, then that's the one you have to dial in and practice it like that until it becomes second nature. If it doesn't go through that process, it stays the same. You can't evolve. Because on a physical level, the physicalness of movement has to be, altered to a state of not just isolated excessive motion. So if you're in a position and you're like this and it's rigid, then really you miss that transition because it goes by pretty fast. Because when we're here and we're here, then you're already turning to here. When I step and I turn to here, I turn my hand like this, and then this hand comes up so we can separate again. And then we start to move. But we don't move the hand. We move the leg, right? So your weight stays this way, right? So when we're here, we end up here, and then when I turn my hand, the hands merge. So between here and here, and here, very small adjustments, integrate and relax the shoulder, sink the elbow, turning of the hand, separation. So when you're here, and then when you open, you're in a position like this. Because when you start to transition over, your body's ready to transfer weight. That's when that foot pivots, and we shift, and then we're here again. So the whole cloud hand is really a sort of that connect and disconnect, stepping, splitting of the movements. So that there's a lot of little nuances inside the cloud hands in the traditional form. Because typical cloud hands, you're just flowing through. Okay. So when you use your body as a frame of reference, where does the hands go before, so you're setting up before the next motion. So if we're here without the jog, when we turn to this corner, this hand's turning, and they merge here just like you were in finishing a grasp the sparrow's tail. This is where your hands pass before you turn. Okay, so your hands, so that gives you the consistency of a place that you've been to, because you learned it at grasp the sparrow's tail. That should be a point where they intercept and they make a transition and split from that point, because it could be at any point. When does this hand come up? At any point, right? So you have to control that, take it to the corner, and then control the movement as you're passing through that space, because your body's still twisting and turning and twisting and turning. So the movement is created totally by your torso movement. So it's not so much moving your hand, you're just manipulating the position to turn. So the spiraling of the movement is the energies here, right? We have this, right? Like in palm strike face, in Mudong, we have a twist, right? So when you twist into the movement, then you have a connection. So it's very, now it becomes a distinct movement. It's not just kind of there, because at this point, the changing of the direction of the contact force is, so it will add another dimension to the movement. The waist is changing, but your waist will continue to move, because in action, because we're doing this for functionality mainly, right? So if the hand is turning, then your waist should be turning too. So while this is turning as a spiraling in this direction, the creation of the motion really is what is used to neutralize the force. But that's really generated by the body and the waist. So this has to happen almost simultaneously, right? Then once you get to here, what do you have to? You sink. Because when you're here, then you sink. Right? So that takes, because you have limits to how far you can go before you start to reach. Sort of the strength diminishes. So you have to capitalize on the strength and structure of that position. So when you turn and you start to change directions, that becomes a change direction in the upper body going to the lower body as a sinking. Because we have dimensions, right? Right, left, forward, back, and center. So right here we have right and left. We have a rise and a fall because we're changing our stance. And then we have a twisting. So each component has within itself its own dimension of movement. So those dimension of movement has to start to blend together. So that's what integration is. That's what upper-lower coordination is. That's what substantial and insubstantial is. That's what passive and active movement is. All those concepts are built inside these actions. But that's why the functionality of movement, you can take out the excessive strength because you're totally working off of body mechanics. So the higher level of execution becomes like no strength. That's why they say use your will and not strength. But how do you get there? That's the sort of the missing link. It's a process that you have to discover over time, that every angular position in space plus every angular position in your body has to sync up, has to work together. So that's taking the idea of form beyond form. Because form is just a vehicle. It houses what you know as a sequence, but your mind has to evolve with the body form. Because if the mind doesn't evolve, the body will never learn it. And the reason why it won't learn it because it doesn't know it here. If you don't know it here, you can't get it here. It's your body has to experience it, right? Now, right? So you think you can do it without the mind? Body knowledge is still up here. Because if you didn't hear it or understand it or see it, you wouldn't even know that exists. So what this is doing is interpreting what you think this is doing. And eventually the body will react. Do you think if you were blind and deaf that you would be able to do it? By just moving your arms? No, because you wouldn't be able to experience what it sounded like or what you saw as a movement. So verbally you can explain something to someone, but someone might not be able to completely understand it because they didn't know it even exists. So that's why you have to go through this. If you took this away, this is useless. It doesn't know anything. So that's why it has to involve this at some point. Simply because the neurons in your brain is what creates a motor skill. And a motor skill is movement, but movement can be, varying. Everybody has a different take on how that movement should be. The people that refine it are the ones that become skillful because of sensitivity and feeling. I don't know if just listening you can, without, I don't know, it's pretty complex stuff when you try to do something. If you didn't have a Tai Chi form, do you think any of these concepts would work? Well, you'd have to be pretty random to discover like what sink the elbow is, because you have no reference point. You don't have a framework to work off of. So that's why, something like what we're doing, like opening movement and sink the elbow and tie it to the knee, because you can see it, then you begin to understand what sink the elbow, relax the shoulder. Now on a functionality side, you say, well, if you don't sink the elbow and turn, and you don't turn, that's what happens when someone grabs your wrist and you turn, and you end up like this. That's how you break the hold. So that's like sort of anti-locking. It's counteracting what the force would be on your hand, because when you sink and you turn and you twist and you press, becomes the action that creates the body mechanics, which is really counterintuitive to what you think your strength should be doing, right? So the reality is when he holds my hand, I don't resist his hand. I let go. Now he feels it. I'm a little too far away, so I have to take a half step. I can't lift this, so I have to get under it. I have to turn my body to find my optimum position so I can lift my leg. Then I have to turn. Now when I turn, I can't use my hand, so I have to press. Yeah. But I don't just press. I change my finger so it does that. And then it does that. And then that breaks the movement. Very little movement here. It's all here. So all the stuff that you're doing in the fundamentals is that. It's all built into that. So that's what, body mechanics is on that level. But if you don't twist and you don't turn and you don't maneuver, then your body doesn't experience that feeling. So the fact that we're twisting and we're sinking and we're turning and we're lifting and turning, that's building those structures in there. But unless you apply it, you really can't feel it. You just it's virtual. This is what I think I'm doing, so that's why the elbows can be out of position. The hand doesn't have to turn. So all of these are just things that are overlooked, mainly because we didn't know it was there. Right? So what other movement did we have? The cloud hands is one of those. Carry tiger to the mountain. We've worked on that before. So when you sink down here and we turn to this direction and we create the lower hoop. So create the lower hoop like this. 1, sink. Right? When you sink, you expand your elbows. Don't do this. Okay, do that. Turn. Yeah, turn. Yeah. So that's a hand movement, right? Expand from the elbow. Turn. Yeah. Turn. So how does that feel when I turn and then expand my elbow? When I expand my hand, it feels like that. When I expand my elbow, it feels like that. Because when I go like this, it's different from this. See? So one is creating the position by manipulation of the skeleton. So once you get to that position, then you lift. But my hand's already there. All I have to change a bit. Then you start to move your hand, and then you turn this way. So when you turn this way, what happens? It starts to come backwards as a change of direction. So neutralizing the force when I come here, like I'm here, right? And then I'm here. Right? It comes this way. Right? So when you're here, yeah, then you're here. But then I'm going to go this way. See, so your transition should have this kind of energy and motion. The tonus of motion. So when you're here, 1, 2, 3, this come back, and then it sinks. When you sink, you start to turn. When you turn, now your hand is this, and then it's this. It depends on which is right or left. So every motion, if you take in the geometry of your position, you will see that it has structure throughout. So that's why a transition in a form, you have your posture, then you have your linkage. When you link one posture to the other one, you have a transition that should be without a void. Now in Tai Chi, it's very slow, and it happens. So the transitions are really hard to pick up on. So that was a little bit physical because of the speed of the movement. So because when it was here, you have to relax. So compatible motion. So you develop that feeling. So I just pointed out to you. It's something that you have to play around with to see if you can capture that. I mean, that's all I can do is point it out. Otherwise, we'll spend hours and hours on that one little thing, right? And some people like to do that, spend an hour on just that one little thing. Yeah. right? If you go, and then when you get to here, then you have to, then you have to sink. Then you have to sink, right? Sink. So what's sinking? Holding the ball again, right? You already learned that from carry tiger to the mountain. So when you're here, carry tiger to the mountain, you're sinking. So you're sinking like this, and then you expand it to that. All you're doing is generating balls, circles, arcs, and hoops. Carry tiger to the mountain. Right now you can feel that connection, right? Because now your transition has the essence of that. Because you guys have been practicing so long in a different way. As soon as it's pointed out, you start to capture some of that, and then you just have to do it enough so that it's consistent. So, just like, Yehikun, the same thing. It's just do it enough, and then you have. So if you do something enough, then all you do is have to get it pointed out. Then you can make the modification because you can know the difference. So if you do something wrong enough, all it takes is one adjustment to make it right. And you know what? You know all the wrong ways of doing it. So that's the long way of learning, but that's the better way of learning. For a teacher, it's the better way. Because what you can do is when someone has a problem, then you can point it out. Because if you don't go through it and you always have it right in the beginning, when someone else has a problem, you don't know how to fix it. Right? So as computer guys, you go there and you try to make a repair or whatever, you fix what's going on there, and you trial and error, and finally you figure it out. But you know it now. You know what the problem was. But if you fix it the first time around, then you don't really know, but it was fixed. So that's kind of fudging it. You still get paid. But if you know how to fix it, the next time you get paid better, because now you're the guy that knows how to fix that. So, it's kind of, this stuff is the same thing. You fix it, and then, it took me a long time to figure this out. But now that I figured out, and I point it out to you, you say, wow, I should have known that, right? But it's not so obvious. So, all right, we're going to move on, bow. And that's theory for the day, 7:30. Okay. All right. So every class we try to do a little concept and theory, because we do all the forms, I did a few times today already. But every session I talk about essentially the same stuff in a different way. All right. Another week. And not too many people here today. What is it? Is it a holiday?
Thursday.
Thursday? Yeah, but it's really light today.